And yeah, let's just hit the ground running, guys, because we've been sitting here for a minute, and today is going to be a big show for everyone. And listen, this is going to be our season two. This is the first day of season two, and also we are officially uh, we're officially a spotlight in the weekly spotlight for Binance Square. So thank you very much, Francis. You are a legend for sponsoring us, or well, for spotlighting us. And let's start things off because there's a lot to discuss. And tonight's gonna be a big one. We're closing season one, as I said. I have the highlights here from season one. Actually, we did 12 wins, 5 losses, and 4 flats. And well, I guess this is good. This is We're up quite a lot, and I'm gonna discuss this a little bit later on. But I wanted to just discuss what's been going around the world, because that's what we do on this channel. We use the weekly news and make them into investment opportunities for everyone, basically. So that's how we tackle investments here. We look at how we can use the news to do so. So the Fed holds rates as inflation hits 4.2%. So this is pretty big. There's a new Fed chair, as you know, Kevin Walsh, and he held his first press conference, and the markets were watching very closely. And the big takeaway is that rate cuts are probably not happening until 2027. And this is a big kick in the balls, to be honest, guys, because well, we were all hoping for rate cuts, and that's usually when crypto and stocks go up. And I know the stock market has been killing it, but crypto hasn't, and that's what we've been waiting for. So most likely, I've been telling you every week, we are most likely going to see a bad crypto market for the rest of the year, and potentially no all-time highs until 2027. Hopefully that's going to change, but for now, just based on the Fed rate cuts, we are not going to see a bull market, but things can change. Of course, the big news is the SpaceX IPO, and I know a lot of you have been basically watching, and a lot of people want to, I guess, invest into this. Myself personally, I don't know. I'm not really that excited about it, because there's so many people holding these shares, right? Who basically got them for free. Even the cafeteria workers, I heard, got a big chunk of these shares for free. And there's going to be a lot of sell pressure, basically, that's going on. So SpaceX, it had this first public it went public last Thursday. The IPO went at $135 per share. It is up now, up to 194. It did cross over $200, I believe, which is pretty damn high. So there was a big demand, and I think, look, it's understandable. What Elon is doing is crazy, but we all know the amount of money that SpaceX makes and Amazon makes. If you compare it, Amazon basically makes hundreds of times more, and its value is the same. So SpaceX is the most overvalued stock that I've seen in this industry. And in my personal opinion, it's a very dangerous stock to invest in right now. So, keep an eye out for it, but I wouldn't really go crazy at the moment, trying to invest into the stock. What I am going crazy about, and this is what's really exciting, guys, because I was an XRP hater for a long time, but Ripple just launched something called the XRPL, and that's not the stable coin that you're thinking about. The XRPL is an AI starter kit. It's basically a toolkit that lets AI agents make payments automatically on the XRP network. No humans in the loop. MasterCard announced Ripple as one of their launch partners, actually. And this is massive. So basically what this is XRP is making AI agents be able to send... You lost your $34 yesterday. This is what I'm talking about, my brother. If you're talking about SpaceX, then yeah, it's so volatile. There's so much sell pressure. Yes, it's going to be inflated. It's going to be pumped in the beginning, but it's going to go down most likely. And a lot of people are going to be stuck with their investment for years, at least for 6 months. So definitely wait for it to balance out, to basically reprice itself, and then when the price is set and repriced properly, that's when you invest. But going back into Ripple, so this is what they're doing. Everything is going to become automated. AI agents are going to be running the internet. The internet isn't going to be used, even technology. For example, like your phone. For example, like your computer, like the screen that we're looking at now on my live stream. It's not going to be used the same in the future. AI agents are going to run it for you. So you're potentially going to be maybe send a text on your phone and your AI agent will do the tasks for you. So send 100. What's up, Emilio? How are you? So if you want to send $100, you text your AI agent and it sends it to Emilio, for example, right? And the XRP is basically deployed this. They're making an AI toolkit basically that's going to use AI agents to send transactions all over the world. And that's going to be institutions and individuals. So we're going to get back into that, into the inside the crypto sector. We're just doing a quick fire round about the top news of the week. So Anthropics, the company behind Claude AI, is about to post its first ever profit revenue from 4.8 billion to 10.9 billion in just one quarter. And all of you know Anthropics is the company behind Claude and Claude Code. And clearly they have well, they've been abusing. There's been a lot of news saying that, but potentially they've lied about their data usage. You know how quickly it runs out. Anyone who's got the max plan or the pro plan, it runs out too quick. And then people are topping up, $5 here just to answer a few more questions. Anthropics are taking the piss. And of course they're making, so much. I think like almost as much as SpaceX. So Anthropics and OpenAI and SpaceX, they're going to be at the top of the industry. A lot of money is going to be circling around. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. But as promised, before we get into our top picks of the week, I want to discuss what's happening right now with Blockdesk News. So every single week that we have this show, we pick you 4 picks from different industries. We go into the AI sector, into general stocks. We also do crypto picks and we do trading card picks. And this is season 1 is ending today. The reason I wanted to end season 1 actually is because, well, SpaceX launched the IPO and a lot of money has moved from general stocks, from crypto and even trading cards to buy the SpaceX stock. So the way we're going to do our picks now is going to change, and this is a big event. And we're starting season 2 as of today. So this week we're going to have 4 new picks, and we're going to start off fresh. But as of season 1, we had 12 wins, 5 losses, and 4 flats. Our biggest 3 winners were Marvel Technology, and I believe... So we started with, so this is the information. We started on April the 16th. That's 14 weeks of picks that we did for you. And here's what it was. So one of our main picks, the biggest winner, was Marvel Technology. We picked it at $155 in April. So you can go onto my YouTube live videos and you can see that we picked this at $155. It's sitting around $324 as of today, and it's still running. And like I'll tell you about the thesis after this. So that's 100% still running basically. ARM Holdings, we called at $223. It's now at $412, which is a good 85%. Still open position, by the way. Dell Technologies, we picked at $238 and it's up 80%. So those aren't closed yet, but they show what our thesis was. And this was my thesis on how I picked these stocks for you to invest in. And this is how I think AI infrastructure spending is getting out of hand. These big AI companies like Anthropics, OpenAI, they're spending a lot of money in different companies. And Marvel, ARM, and Dell were the companies benefiting the most from these companies doing these big IPOs like Anthropics and OpenAI. So I look at the background. I don't look at these bigger companies. I look at the companies which are going to make money from the big companies. And that's how we were able to have such a success rate. And look, we're not always successful. The losses we need to own up to. LIT is down 23.6%. So basically the broader tech sell-off was harder than expected. Avgo dropped 18.7%. So the earnings were still strong, but it just couldn't fight the macro sell-off, unfortunately. And our May Bitcoin was our crypto pick of the week in May. And unfortunately, caught in the Iran conflict. So the timing was a bit terrible. And all of you know, the Iran conflict has basically screwed up quite a lot when it comes to crypto, at least. And the XOM calls this that I made privately this week is a good example of how fast the market can move. So we picked Exxon for oil supply shock, and then US and Iran said we're making peace deals. So you can't really keep up with everything, but we are successful more than we're not, and I think that's all you really need to be profitable in the markets. So let's talk a little bit about crypto, guys, because in crypto, there's definitely a lot going on. The Bitcoin price is at 65,829 as of right now. I believe it is. Of course, it's volatile, Bitcoin price. Let's check it out and see where we're at. We want USDT 65,635. So being pretty static as of today. And it's interesting because today was the Fed rate decision, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show. And that should really shake the markets. But Bitcoin barely moved because, the rates didn't change. So when the Fed says no rate cuts and inflation is high, the argument for Bitcoin actually gets stronger over time. It's basically a fixed supply asset looks better when every dollar in the bank is slowly worth less. I hope that makes sense, right? Red card, yeah. Tell me about it. And looking at Ethereum as well, Ethereum is the most stable asset in the world, and it has dropped recently. I think in the past, yeah, even the volume is dropping. I don't know. A lot of developers are leaving Ethereum. I'm sure you've seen the news. I'm worried about Ethereum personally. And we're still underwater from our season 1 Ethereum pick in May. But here's what's happening. And you won't see this in the price, but corporations are quietly buying massive amounts of Ethereum. So companies now hold 6.2 million Ethereum in their treasuries. A year ago, it was under 1 million. So even though we might potentially not see this crazy NFT market, we might potentially not see the developers rushing in to develop on Ethereum. Institutions are buying it. They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying Ethereum. So Ethereum could potentially become the silver, the digital silver that it was always meant to be, instead of a blockchain to develop upon. And if it does become institutionalized, I guess maybe it's the wrong wording, but you're going to see a big pump on it. No rare packets here, my brother. So one company alone, BitMine, bought $214 million worth of Ethereum in just a week. So that's institutional accumulation, right? And I think that's something to keep an eye out for. And something also to really keep an eye out for is BNB. And this is really going to get interesting. I'm not, I'm not sure if you guys forgot about BNB, but BNB is still around. And that was one of the biggest hype chains. The biggest hype chains. Apologies for that. The biggest hype chains in the industry. It was where all the meme tokens were launched back in the last bull run. And at the moment, it's up 20% in the last 30 days. And here's the reason. Most people are missing this, by the way. Coinbase confirmed it's adding BNB to its platform. So for context, Coinbase is where most American retail investors buy crypto. I know a lot of you don't use it, but in America, that's where most of the crypto retail buy their crypto, especially when they buy it for fiat. So they've never been able to easily buy BNB before this, and that's basically a new wave of buyers coming in. And potentially a new wave of developers, because BNB really is going to run on the developers at the end of the day, right? So combined with Ripple AI Toolkit's news, we heard about, in the intro, the broader crypto ecosystem is building real utility at the moment. So this is my take. While everyone's staring at Bitcoin and waiting for a rally on Bitcoin, BNB just unlocked access to the biggest retail crypto platform in America. And the demand wave from that hasn't fully even hit anyone, because I'm sure a lot of you haven't even heard about that. right? So, starting off my season two, my crypto pick of the week, and listen, the crypto picks are very difficult to make right now. Please don't hit don't don't blame us for this, but this has been a tough one to do. But it's gonna be BNB because the current price is 609. Let's have a look at the current price of BNB. 605. Okay. So it's down today, potentially a good moment to buy. So why now? Coinbase listing, as I said, opens up retail to all of America. It's up 20% in 30 days. It's taken a small decline, as you can see on my screen now. So potentially a good time to buy. But the Coinbase-driven demand is just starting to arrive. So risk on environment, post-Iran war peace deals do help, but it might not work. So BNB is Binance token, as many of you know. So any legal regulatory trouble for Binance could drop this fast. So this is not a safe play. It's a momentum play with real risk. And I'm going to put this as a high risk because it's crypto. Our crypto picks, they're very hard to do in this market, as many of you know. I am much better at doing the stocks and the TCG market, but BNB is going to be my first crypto pick of season two. So wish me luck, guys, because it's gonna be a hard one. But next week I'm going to we're gonna catch up with our top picks and let you know how it goes. Now moving a little bit into the AI segment. Anthropics, the company behind Claude AI assistant, just went from 4.8 billion to 10.9 billion, as I mentioned, in revenue in a single quarter. So that's an annual run rate is now at $30 billion. They're raising around $900 billion in evaluation. So to put that into perspective, that's nearly as big as Amazon entire market cap in just a few years ago, right? So the interesting part for investors is who owns big chunks of Anthropics. Amazon does, right? I bet you didn't know that, but Amazon owns a large chunk of Anthropics. They put in $25 billion at $900 billion evaluation. So Amazon's stake is worth somewhere between 75 and $100 billion. And that number is sitting in Amazon's stock price right now. And the market hasn't priced it in. Right? So this is this is really interesting to sort of see this connection between Amazon and Anthropics, and how much Amazon owns Anthropics, and how much potentially Amazon is going to be involved in Anthropics. So beyond the Anthropics angle, Amazon is also the company running most of the world's AI infrastructure through AWS. So, like, you need to understand, AWS is a powerhouse when it comes to running infrastructure for most crypto companies and now AI. So every time a business uses Claude, whether it's chatbot, a coding tool, a customer service app, it's running on Amazon servers. So what that means is Amazon's getting paid twice from the AI boom. Once as an investor and once basically as an infrastructure provider. So JP Morgan Chase, one of the world's largest banks, as you know, now has 2,000 AI engineers and 19.8 billion AI budget this year. AI budgets are going through the roof. That's why we need to be smart about our investments. Where's that money going at the end of the day, right? And that's what you want to invest in. So they didn't classify AI as an experiment anymore. So it's moving on. Like, companies said, oh, we're experimenting with AI. Now they called it core infrastructure, like electricity or the internet. So when the banks are doing that, the AI wave isn't hype, it's structural now. It's becoming a structure. So this is my take. Amazon put 25 billion into the first AI company to turn profitable, Anthropics. That payoff isn't in the stock price here at $246. That's still reasonable entry for what you can be in the biggest gains in portfolio. So my season two number one pick when it comes to stock is gonna be Amazon, guys. Its current price, let's have a look. Amazon stock price. $239 at the moment. I think it's underpriced because of their investment. Look, this is what I want everybody to understand. What's up, Mabishi? How are you, my brother? Amazon owns a lot of Anthropics. Anthropics is gonna do the IPO. Amazon is gonna benefit twice through the infrastructure and through the investment. Investing into Amazon stock right now is probably smarter than investing into Anthropics itself, because the Amazon stock price is going to get double benefits from the IPO, and they're not gonna get hit by all the issues with creating more profits or having to do anything with the AI side. They're just going to benefit from it. So yes, my top pick of the week for season 2 on the stock side is going to be Amazon. And it's going to hit its first profit milestone. AWS is the backend for global AI deployments. The Anthropics upside alone could basically add more value to this stock. And Anthropic's stake won't move the stock overnight. It's going to be a broader market sell-off, right? So even if Anthropics goes down, Amazon is still going to benefit from this IPO. So definitely, I think when it comes to Amazon, this is, I would say, a medium size or probably a very low risk investment when it comes to Amazon itself. So yeah, good guys, look, good luck with that. We're gonna catch up next week. But I want to talk a little bit more about stocks, and I know everybody's talking about SpaceX that, SpaceX this, and I want to give you a different view on things. So SpaceX IPO revealed something that changed the conversation permanently. In their official filing, they disclosed 18,712 Bitcoin on their balance sheets. I bet you guys forgot that SpaceX owns a lot of Bitcoin, over $1.3 billion in Bitcoin. All right? Now, are you connecting the dots? So add that to Tesla's holdings, and Elon Musk, basically, his companies now hold over 30,000 Bitcoin combined. Every institutional fund that just bought SpaceX stock now has indirect Bitcoin exposure, whether they wanted it or not. And this is what makes me feel like the next bull market is going to actually blow our brains out. When this is going to be one of the biggest bull markets we've ever seen. So on top of that angle, on top of the Bitcoin angle, Starlink is already profitable. It's generating recurring revenue from satellite internet subscribers all over the world. SpaceX also has NASA contracts, which is really important to... Good, man. Good little trade there. Someone bought Amazon, I see. Yeah, very low risk, I think. SpaceX also has NASA contracts, government satellite launches, and integrating AI into its operations. This is a company that basically gives you space satellites, AI, and Bitcoin all in one stock. So nothing else listed in any exchange looks like this. So the stock is pretty low at the moment. And I really want to make this my stock pick of the week, and I won't. SpaceX is an easy one. I think a lot of people have been saying it, but I personally think if you invest now, your money is going to be stuck for quite a while in that stock. So I'm going to say Amazon. And I know, like, look, SpaceX is doing everything right, but the evaluation is just too high, and the amount of money they're making, the evaluation doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to wait for this to get priced in. And next week, I'm going to update you, and we're going to see how well it's been priced in. And then I'm going to let you know if it's a good time to invest. But what I want to move on to now is a trading card segment. And this is what people really love on my channel, because this is where we made the actual money during all the bull markets, during all the bear markets. The trading card industry is making all of us money. So Pokemon First Partner Illustration Collection Series 2 released today. The retail price is $15 for this little box. And it's looking like selling around $74 at the moment. So I mentioned this, I think it was last week as well. I told you guys, look, this is one, if you can buy it retail, then buy it, right? because this is the 30th anniversary. This whole until October is going to be big. If you can get your hands on any of these on retail, that's why you see in Walmart all these scalpers running towards Walmart, right? Going crazy there. And because if you could get on retail, you're making money. So to understand, like I'll explain to you this. You need to look at Series 1. So Series 1, it came out a few months ago with illustration rare promo cards for the older starter Pokemon. Those individual cards are now selling $15 to $30 each on TCG Player at $14.99 at the box, right? So Series 2 is going to be covering the Johto region. For anyone who's not a nerd, that's just a region in the Pokemon universe. And it's going to cover Unova, Galata starter Pokemon regions with some of the most passionate fans in the game. So a lot of people like these Pokemon, which are going to be in the Series 2. And this is the partner illustration Series 2. As far as I can see, you don't get any actual promo cards, but you get free additional game cards for the Series 2 in each pack. So I would definitely keep this product sealed. Do not open it. If you can get MSRP, then great. If you can't, then I would not really get it. $100. You're going to be waiting years until you really make any profit at the moment. Moving on to Magic the Gathering. Listen, guys, there's been a lot of happening on the Magic Gathering side. So Marvel Superheroes drops 9 days on June 26th. I have discussed this on past streams. So if you do want to watch it, go back and watch that. Our open season 1 position on the collector booster box entered at $480 and is sitting around $495 now. So we're still up, not that much, but some of these things take a little bit of time. And the cards themselves are already spiking. So one old combo card called the Seeker from the Skybeak went from under $1 to $10. So that was a 10x. And a lot of these cards, as you can see, from these sets, they're spiking in price at the moment, right? And this is what happens. Sometimes the reprints take time. So the way you want to invest into Magic the Gathering, if you're if you don't like Pokemon, you want to invest in something else, you wait for the reprints to stop. So usually they reprint these cards heavy, right? So once they stop the initial print, that's when you sell, and then they reprint and the price goes down. So you can arbitrage these cards. Basically, it's like buying and selling crypto, buying and selling stock, right? So this is my take at $14.99 in Target on the secondary market. If you walk in tomorrow morning and find one of these, Pokemon cards on the shelf, Pokemon Series 2 on the shelf, then buy it. So my top TCG pick of the week is going to be this partner illustration collectible Series 2, but only at retail price. Make sure you're buying this at 15, maybe $20, $25 at maximum. I wouldn't go anywhere above that. As you can see, people are selling it for 75. So if you're able to get it at your Walmart, if you're able to get it at your local card store, then you can just resell it for $50 extra within the first day. This is just free money right now because people aren't bothered to walk to the Walmart, or they don't have time, right? Or they have jobs, unlike most of us, right? So if you don't have a job, or you've got some time in the morning, or you work night shifts, this might be a really good way for you just to make some quick buck, $50. If you can buy 4 of these, that's $200. That's like a whole day's work. And the price charting is gonna move, guys. This is gonna go out of print. These are, the 30th anniversary collection, partner illustration. These will go out of prints. There won't be any reprints. These will start selling for more than $100, maybe after a year. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out for everybody else. So that's it for this week, guys. Look, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. There's a lot to cover. Next week we're gonna have a bigger show. This was our first feature show. This is season 2. There's a lot going on, especially with the I guess the SpaceX IPO has really messed up a lot of markets, and that's why we're starting season 2. But next week we're gonna talk about our picks of this week, the first picks, and we're gonna talk about the second picks also. So there's gonna be a lot to discuss. Make sure you're following us on X. It's at Blockdesk News, and also on Binance Square, obviously, it's Blockdesk News. And we're going to catch you live next week. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.